Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you my new favorite way to do a geode. So I'm starting off with a 30-ounce skinny tumbler. It's been sanded and spray painted matte black, and I'm doing the epoxy method to apply my glitter. I apologize for any background noise you may hear. I'm in my workshop and it's very cold in here, so I have my little portable heater going. So this is one of the glitters that I carry. It's called Pretty Little Liar. It is a chameleon chunky glitter. It's absolutely gorgeous. The shift on it is amazing. Once I have my glitter applied, I'm going to roll it up in some parchment paper and just smooth out that chunky glitter to make sure that it's laying on there flat. I used fast set epoxy, but I'm going to let it sit overnight. And then I put 25 mLs of epoxy over the glitter. Because I did flatten my glitter, the cup was pretty smooth. I did do a light sand over it, and then around the top and the bottom I did a rough sand because it was still very lumpy around the top and the bottom. And I want to do my rough sand now rather than after I spray paint, because I could scratch the spray paint. So I smoothed it out as best I could. It wasn't, like super smooth, but another layer of epoxy over the top will help to smooth it out. So I did smooth it out as much as I could. So now I'm going to go take care of my vinyl pieces that I need for this cup. So I am going to cut out the stencil for the peekaboo part of the cup, but I am also going to be cutting out some vinyl cutouts to put around those areas. So I go to the offset feature. I am selecting how thin or thick that I want it. I always forget to hit apply every time. So set your thickness. Apply. Now this gives me my original piece and the offset. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select them and I'm going to hit slice. So now I have my stencil and I have my cutout, and the other one you can get rid of. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to do that for each piece. The only one that I didn't do it for at this point was the dinosaur. I wasn't originally going to do it, but I did go back and do the offset for that part as well. I don't show it in the tutorial, but you do it the same way you do the rest of these pieces. So once you have all that set, then click Make It and get all your vinyl cut out, and then it's time to move on to the next step. So now we are going to apply the stencil part. So there's no set pattern that you have to use for these cups. You can apply your vinyl however you want to apply it on your cup. The reason I showed you the close-up is because if you have ever done one of these walk in the park cups, you know how frustrating those little teeth are. You lose half of them just during the cutting process. And then usually by the time you get done with the cup, your dinosaur looks like it has no teeth. But this one that I found, the teeth are welded. So it's all one piece. So you don't lose any of the teeth. And I just thought that was so much easier. So I will leave a link to that in the description. Every time before this one, every time I would do one of these cups, I would always tell myself I am never going to put myself through that again. It was so frustrating, but this one was so much easier. So now that my stencil is on, now it's time to do the power wash portion of the cup. So I have my Dawn Power Wash, and I'm gonna try and not get any of it on the stencil area. It's hard to do that because you have limited space to work with, but I'm gonna try and keep as much of it off my stencil as I can. I'm just going to spray where the glitter is showing through. Now I'm spray painting it black and then rinsing it off immediately. And then I will let this dry, and then I'm going to come back over it with a second color. So again, I'm going to spray my Dawn Power Wash, but I'm going to spray in the exact same spots that I sprayed it before. I want to keep that same pattern, that same. So I'm trying to go over the same spots that I did before. And then I'm going to spray paint it with white. So I let it dry overnight, and then I did a very thin layer, or no, this is not. You want to let your spray paint dry for at least 24 hours before you do any cleanup, particularly for the power wash method. And that is because if you go in while your paint is not completely dry and you go and clean those areas with alcohol and you get any of the alcohol on your spray paint, you're going to lose that power wash splatter effect that you get. You're going to end up blending your colors together and you're going to lose that pattern. So let your spray paint dry for at least 24 hours before you do any cleanup. And then you can go in with your alcohol and clean up any overspray that there might be on your glitter areas. So now I am just pulling off the stencil. And so, you know, as you can see, some of the wording, the letters are kind of blending into the glitter. And that is why I did the vinyl cutouts. So after I got the stencil off, I went and did a very thin layer of epoxy. I think it was probably 15 mLs of epoxy. And I'm going to do another light sand just for any little lumps or bumps that might still be there. I'm also cleaning around the top and getting out any epoxy or anything that might be on the inside. I don't show that here in this tutorial, but I do it in one of my other tutorials. I believe it's the hummingbird zipper tutorial. So once I have it all smoothed out, now I'm going to apply my vinyl cutouts. This vinyl is from Tech Wrap, and I bought it at Two Moms Craft Shack, and I will leave a link to their website in the description. So again, I did the vinyl cutouts because sometimes you can't. With a regular geode, you can control where you want your geode spots to be. You can pick and choose, but with a power wash, you can try and control it, but you're not always going to know what you get until you rinse it off. So some of your image might blend into those geode spots. So I cut out the vinyl cutouts to help distinguish each shape. I did have an issue with my walk in the park piece. I cut the vinyl out. It was, I don't know what happened. It was the wrong size. So I did have to go back and recut that. And I wasn't going to do it originally, but as you can see right at the end there, the letters kind of blend into the glitter. So now you can see each letter clearly. And then once I got the vinyl on, I let my vinyl sit for about 24 hours just to make sure it's fully adhered. Or you can put a clear coat over it. I don't always think about doing that. And then I did 20 mLs of epoxy to finish the cup off. In my final coat of epoxy, I did add some color shifting alcohol ink. This is Marabu violet, blue, green color shifting ink, and I will leave a link for that as well. Two Moms Craft Shack sells that also. So the cup is done. So I hope that you like this technique. I absolutely love the way it came out. So I hope that you will give it a try. And if you do, if you're on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, tag me so I can see it. I would love to see it.